Okay, we're in the island section of the Marjorie Carr Cross-Florida Greenway, which of course was the land used previously for the Cross-Florida Barge Canal. This is an abandoned section of the barge canal where they built these big huge stanchions for, I'm assuming, vehicular traffic to go over this canal system. And later on we'll see the stanchions that are built for the canal. This was built, this is a sideways H, I guess, and it was built, or upside down U, and it was built to house to hold the roadway. So the other is built to hold the roadway on top, but it's built to hold water on the other side, I'm assuming, because it's completely solid. These are obviously not solid. The one on this end and the one on the other end are now solid. So we're in Santos. Wanted to see this for a very, very long time. We're going to try to make this as quick as possible because this is, I don't know, a few hundred yards of shaking camera and me talking. So I'll try to be as quick as possible. This area, where we are standing right now, is formerly Santos, and there were apparently businesses and that sort of thing here that were homes, I guess, too, that were displaced at some point. There's kiosks all along, informational placards that tell you different things about this area and what went on before then. Before the barge canal. My understanding is that these stanchions date back to the 30s, and then at some point they were abandoned. Earlier I took videos of the houses, the buildings that were apparently used to house either workers or supervisors or something. I don't know. It seems a little unique to me. I don't know. A lot of questions about that. I didn't see a lot of things that indicated people living there, or why they would build concrete structures for that. But anyway, these are absolutely concrete structures. This is one side of the canal. The canal would have been between basically here and the other one, but not all of this would have been underwater. Some of it up here. I think there's some signs that show you where they had laid it out to dig, but they never got to dig it. And it talks about all sorts of stuff here. I mean, there's just all sorts of, more than just the barge canal is the history of this particular land that we're standing on. Now, I don't know if 301, we're in the middle of 301 northbound and 301 southbound. 441/301 north and south are on either side of me, and of course you can hear it in the background very clearly. So I don't know if that was there before or not. I'm not sure when that was built. I'm assuming it was there, or it was going to come through there, because this would have been. Okay, here it says Barge Canal South Shore. So this would have been the south end of the canal. So from here to either that other red one or the blue one is where the canal would have been dug. This is kind of cool too, because this, in spite of all the traffic around, these are woods. There's woods on either side of the road, and so there's all sorts of wildlife coming through: hogs, deer, bear, etc., etc. That's interesting. And this is Barge Canal North Shore. Okay, so from here to the other red one, 70, 80 yards, maybe, probably less, would have been where the water was going to be. And then here's various areas. I don't know if these, it says, oh, here's another one. It says Ship Canal North Shore. So, I don't know, that's kind of contradictory. I'm not sure of the significance of that. Apparently this was where a dock was going to be or something. I'm not sure of, you know, nothing was ever built here because the canal was never dug. So they call it Port Santos. The artesian well, 20 feet deep, etc., etc., Santos. The display site is intended to honor the many communities and residents between the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico that were displaced by the government's acquisition, etc., etc. So it was a whole lot more than just this one area. This over here I thought was very interesting. It says site of Calvary Baptist. So there must have been a Baptist church here that was displaced by the canal construction. So they would have. This is the north end of that solid stanchion. It would have carried, I guess, traffic over the top of it, and you can see here the other one is way down at the other end. So it would have been a lot more. So they were barely into it. Just these four stanchions when the rest of it got abandoned, when all this, you know, somebody said, hey, we're done, call it off. I don't know exactly when that was. Anybody knows anything about construction or has any experience with construction knows that it doesn't always go from groundbreaking to completion smoothly, or sometimes at all, as in this case. And this talks about the canal stopping, environmental impact. Marjorie Carr got involved, and she created an organization that made enough noise to basically shut the thing down, lawsuits, etc. So it was a failed environmental idea from the very beginning. The idea of cutting a waterway or finding a waterway through the middle or northern portion of Florida is as old as the Spaniards coming in the 16th century. Because rather than go all the way down to the Caribbean, over to Mexico, South America, wherever, and take out their gold, they wanted to just cut straight through Florida, which of course made sense because it was a much more direct route. Okay, so here's the last one. Massive structures. I mean, I don't know how well it's going to come out on the screen, but it's just massive. It would have sure held a ton of stuff, but they're a long ways in between one another. Even now they don't have enough support technology to not have something standing in between somewhere along the way. I don't know. Yeah, a lot smarter people than me building this stuff, that's for sure. I want to thank the people over at the Santos Trailhead campground for hooking me up with, you know, where to park and all that, as well as a couple other cool things with the other buildings. That was pretty neat. And of course the Florida Trail runs through here. Now we're going to come out to the end of this. Maybe check out historic Santos. I don't know if I have enough daylight left or how much daylight I'll have left, but we'll give it a shot. I just want to get this sign here real quick. And the island. So I finally got to visit it. I will say this, that I wanted to visit. Well, let me start over. I should have visited this back when it was still basically a ruin. This was rediscovered in 2016 and incorporated into the park system. But real explorers knew about it long before then. I had heard about it, but I never bothered to come out here and actually find it. Sometimes if it doesn't have a sign marker or GPS beacon, I don't really go looking for things. Other times I'll dig through the swamps to find something, but I just for whatever reason I never got up here, never found it. Now I'm finding it after it's already been rediscovered, and the people who, other explorers, they knew about it long ago and got to see it when it was pristine, before all the placards, all the signs, all the benches, all the kiosks, all the other stuff. So that would have been really cool to be able to see it then. But I'm seeing it now, and it is what it is. It's an incredible site. It's a monument to the largest failed public works project in the history of the United States.